Okay, we now welcome on a very, 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 very special guest, recurring guest. We haven't seen him in a few years, but he's a great friend of ours, and I think we're friends of his. Remember, you said I think that was one of the things you said at the end of one of our interviews with you, that we are your friend. It is Coach O in studio. Coach O, great to see you. We just had dinner together. It's great to see you back. And I hope that this maybe is the start of you maybe getting back on a sideline, because that's what I'm hoping for. We need you in our lives.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, you guys are wonderful. I want to congratulate y'all. All the success y'all have, but you know what? You're still the same guys. You're our friends. You're always going to be our friends. Derek and I, and what a great show you guys have.
We appreciate it. I don't know if you saw this earlier, but on my laptop, since the day we met, I got Coach O helmet stickers.
I love it.
That I popped on here. I love it. A lot of times people are like, who's that on your laptop? I'm like, that's
Coach O.
You need to start watching more football.
Yeah.
So you do want to get back into coaching football.
You know what?
Time?
I think it's time. I'm feeling a little bit. I haven't made the decision totally, but, I got my boys settled, coaching football now, and it's been 4 years since I've been out. And I'm getting the itch again.
So what does the last 4 years look like? Have you just been kind of laying low? Have you been watching football? Have you been talking to anyone about football? Because you are a football guy through and through.
Yeah.
It had to have been weird I would imagine that was one of the first times in your life since you were a little kid that you took a break from football.
Yeah. It was, I didn't know what was going to happen. We went down, one of my sons, Cody, and I went down to Miami, and Mario Cristobal has been great to me, who I coached at the University of Miami. And we asked him if we can get Cody a job as a young analyst. And he said, yeah, come on up. And Cody said, Daddy, Miami's a big city. You mind moving down here? I said, I'll volunteer.
That's a good dad. Yeah, you'll take one for the team.
So I moved down to Miami Beach, and I've been living there ever since. My other son, Parker, is an analyst at Miami, so I got two boys there, and my older son coaching at Tulane.
Okay. And I've seen a couple videos. Every now and again, somebody sees you out for a run, and they take a video, though. I got spotted Coach O on South Beach. I saw one guy a couple weeks ago. He was a real piece of shit. He said, roll tide to you.
Yeah.
And then you did a great thing. You were very nice, very polite to him, and then you turned around and he said, wait a second. And he turned back to me, you go, you watch your mouth. Like, basically said, I'm going to be nice to you, but just know I could still kick your ass.
It's about respect, man. You know what I mean? And, and when you get out in the real world, when you with people in sports, we understand the code. Hey, this is the thing you do, these things you don't do. Out there, I think a lot of people don't understand the code. I'm out there to teach them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So if you had to pick, and we're not going to hold you to anything, but are you thinking more about the pros or more about college football?
Yeah, I really like college football. I mean, I wouldn't not entertain the pros, but I think college football is where I've been, and I really like it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, so not coaching football, how many Red Bulls are you drinking? It's like that has to change, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I still get up at 5 o'clock. I still have an itinerary.
Okay.
My wife goes, you're retired. And I have an itinerary. I get up at 5. I go to some meetings in the morning, and then I work out. I end up about 3:30 in the day. Then I'm done. That's the days I have off. 3 or 4 days a week, I'm at football practice.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. So you're still around the guys. So are you still crushing Red Bulls before every day?
Oh, no question.
How many?
I love Red Bull. Well, I've gotten down to maybe 6.
Yeah, last we chat, I think you said you had to curtail some of your Red Bull drinking.
Yeah.
At your height, how high did it get?
Yeah. 12 to 15.
Oh, Jesus
crazy.
Christ.
Hey, we're dipping a cup. Little dip of coffee. A little dip of coffee will help you too. Go straight to you.
So wait, you'd mix it in with the Red Bull?
No, put it in your lip.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the coffee grounds.
Yeah, the coffee grounds in your lip.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah, go straight to your lip.
Have you eaten any worms in the last couple of years?
You know what? I haven't eaten any worms. No, I didn't have to do it. I haven't had many speeches.
Yeah, wait, we gotta retell that story, because I'm sure there are some new AWLs. We've been doing this for a long time. It's an all-time hype-up story. So set the stage for us.
Joe Peace at Northwestern State University was a great coach, man. And he had told a story one time. It was a motivating story, and I heard it from him. And he did it in front of the team, and it was like my freshman year. Then my senior year, I was going to give a speech at a banquet, and so I went out in the grass field. We had a grass field. We had a bunch of big worms, man. And I was out looking for some worms. I get a worm, and Coach Goodwin says, baby, what are you doing? I said, Coach, I'm looking for some worms. He didn't even ask me. He said, there's a big old worm there. So I found a bunch of them. Then I went that night and I said, there's 2 guys fishing in Alaska. Cut the hole. One guy's catching a bunch of fish. The other guy's not catching anything. And he looks at the guy. He says, what are you doing? What is your bait? He goes, worms. He goes, I'm using worms too. He said, why am I not catching bait? He goes, you got to keep them warm before you put them on the hook. He said, well, how the hell you do that? Yeah. Keep them in my mouth. I'll do anything to feed my family. I pulled out a big old worm, man. Team got fired. I'll do anything to win. I'm going to tell you what, it was tough, though. That worm was crawling around my mouth.
Did you win that game?
It was like a spring game.
Okay. Wait, it's a spring game?
Spring game.
That's your pump up for a spring game.
Did you ever think I should have waited to use this during an actual game that counted?
Yeah, later on, I didn't have to do that. I just made sure Joe Burrow was on the bus.
Yeah.
That's right. So what was that like after winning the Natty? So we got to experience it as fans and as fans of yours and of Joe Burrow's. So we were in Louisiana that night watching the game. Amazing game. What was that like for the next couple of weeks? Were you just you were the kings of Louisiana?
Well, I felt like we were the kings of the country, man. Everybody loved us. A lot of people were supporting us. The next day, I saw you guys in the morning. I think that I was the only one that went to bed a little early. And we had a press conference, and, we were going home. And, I was raised down the bayou. People catch shrimp for a living. They work hard. They're great people. And, man, we go down Highway 30. We take the back road, and the cooks, the people that were working in the refinery were screaming, "Go Tigers." And that was one of my biggest moments, to see all those people satisfied. You see, when you become the head coach of LSU, you got to understand this, man. On Saturday night, for 3 to 4 hours, everybody in that state is cheering for the Tigers.
Right.
And if you win, they're happy. And if you don't, they mad as hell at you.
Yeah, it is. It's a cultural thing.
Yep.
Do you think, was that the best college football team of all time?
I'll say this. With Joe, I think we could beat anybody. But, you hear comparisons here and there, and you know what my answer is? It's got to be one on the field. Now, they've had some other great teams, but I do believe with Joe and the team that we have, we could have beat anybody we played that year, for sure.
Yeah. And you specifically have been part of, some of the late 80s, early 90s Miami teams, the early 2000s USC teams, so you can speak to it. Like, you were part of some really special football teams.
5 national championships.
Yeah. So would you say if you had to put them all out there, all those teams out there, that LSU team would win that game?
I'd put the LSU team in front of everybody.
Wow.
When did you know that it was going to be a special team?
First of all the pieces came together. There's a lot of stories that stuff came together here and there. And Derek and I, man, we had planned this for 5 years. Man, this is how we're going to do it. I had a blueprint from Jimmy Johnson. I had a blueprint from Pete Carroll. Now was my time to do it, I went to Ole Miss and I made a bunch of mistakes. I tell everybody, don't worry about my mistakes. I did them all at Ole Miss. So I'm ready to go here. But when it was 3rd down, I think it's 17 in Texas. Yeah, we should have went 4-minute offense to run the clock down because Texas was hot. They were scoring. It was 3rd down and 17. There's 0 blitzes. Clyde picks up the linebacker. Joe slides to the left, and he gives time for Justin Jefferson on the crossing route to get open. Other quarterbacks would have got sacked. Justin gets open. He hits Justin. He gets hit. He throws Justin a great pass, touchdown. That's when I knew we had a great team because, the bottom line, you can coach all you want. Playmakers got to make plays in the big game.
Yeah. So you say you had a plan. Obviously, Joe Burrow was a big part of that plan. What was it like recruiting him and getting him? Because that's Joe Burrow's story, winning a Heisman, being the number 1 overall pick, being so good in the NFL.
Yes.
That was not the Joe Burrow that you recruited. That was, the guy you recruited was the guy who couldn't get the starting job at Ohio State and, was a good football player, but maybe wasn't the guy that ended up being everything, all-world everything.
He developed. Thank God we had him for 2 years.
Yeah.
We needed that. You go into Miami, having the great quarterbacks we had at Miami. Then we go to USC, Carson Palmer, Matt Leinart, all those great. So I had a vision in my mind what we needed. So we had our spring ball back when spring game was on TV. Now they don't put them on TV because they poach their players, right?
Yeah.
And our quarterbacks didn't play well. And I got a son playing at McNeese. He called me, said, "Dad, our quarterback sucked today." I said, I know, I get it. He said, "Daddy, there's a guy named Joe Burrow transferred from Ohio State. You ought to look him up." So I went out and the coaching staff, Bill Bush, had been at Ohio State. I said, "Bill, you know Joe Burrow?" He says, "Coach, if we get Joe Burrow, we're going to college football playoffs." I said, "Let's go get him." Now, Joe's coach, who recruited him, was at Cincinnati at the time. Joe's girlfriend was going to Cincinnati. When Joe came on the trip, guess where Joe was going? Cincinnati. Ain't no doubt, right? So Joe gets – I never had a recruit tell me this. Joe gets here, and I say, "Joe, come on off." He goes, "Coach, I don't want to talk to you." I said, "What?" He said, "Coach, I know you're a great recruiter. I don't want to hear all that bull." He said, "I want to eat crawfish, and I want to talk football." And, if I didn't need a quarterback so bad, I wouldn't have responded this way. I said, "Okay." So I left him alone. The next day we had a football meeting. Jerry Sullivan was in there, who developed Justin Jefferson, has been in the NFL, Steve Ensminger, Joe's daddy, Joe's brother. We had about 10, 15 people in there. Derek was in there. It took me 5 minutes to figure out that Joe Burrow was the smartest guy in the room. No doubt. So, all right, number one, he's a smart quarterback. Jimmy Johnson told me that. Get a smart quarterback. So we go to eat crawfish. You might have hit the story. And Derek comes to me, Sharon comes to me and say, "Hey, Coach, there's no crawfish." You got to think on your feet, man. You got to adjust on the move, right? Mm-hmm. You got to be from Louisiana to do this. Hey, I call Boudreaux over there. Boudreaux's balling crawfish down at the other restaurant. Bring 40 pounds of crawfish balled and put it on the platter and give it to Joe. So he ate crawfish. So we go out. We have a meeting. I never told anybody this. We had a private meeting. I said, "Joe, if you tell anybody this, you're lying. You're going to be my starting quarterback, but you got to earn it." I said, "By the way, I got 2 receivers, man. Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson. You haven't heard about them yet." So the next day we have a big breakfast. Derek's there. Our coaches' wives are there. So when the parents leave, we all stay and we say, "Okay, is he coming or not?" Cincinnati. He's going to Cincinnati. But Joe said something. He said, "I'm not taking any phone calls, and I'll decide on Thursday." Do you think I was going to wait till Thursday not to get in touch with Joe Burrow?
Right.
When my butt's on the line? Well, we made a connection with his brother Dan. And Dan talked a lot more than Joe. So I called Dan. Me and Derek called Dan the next day. I said, "Dan, are you talking to Joe?" Yeah. You answer your phone? Yeah. I said, "You got to be my voice now, okay?" I said, "Dan, where do you think – come on, Dan, LSU or Cincinnati? It ain't even close." Dan gives me this old, "Well, Coach, I said, "Dan, F that. Where you want – you love your brother?" I said, "Dan, do you – hey, grab down there, son." I said, "Grab down there in your pants." "Oh, you got 2 of them, Dan?" He goes, I'm grabbing them, Coach. I got them. I said, "Dan, squeeze them son of a gun." "Yeah, Coach, I'm squeezing." I said, "Call your brother. Tell him to come down the shoot if you got 2 of them down there, boy." We tell that story. He was like, "I got him, Coach. Squeeze him. I got him. He actually did it, man. And Dan was our voice to call Joe. Now, Joe said that wasn't his deciding, but I wasn't. How's a recruit going to tell you need him and he's not going to talk to nobody Thursday? Somebody's going to talk to him.
Right.
You got to compete.
If you're not talking to him, the other guy's talking.
Somebody's competing. You got to find the back door, man. You got to get on the ground. But, man, what a story. And then just out the blue on Thursday, I get a call. Joe Burrow said, "Coach, I'm going to be LSU Tiger."
Oh, unbelievable.
How about that?
And Dan Burrow is also the guy who got Joe in with us.
Is that right?
EMT. Yeah. He's a listener.
Well, hey, Dan's got 2.
Dan's the man.
He got 2. He squeezed them.
It's proven, yeah. You got to recruit the brother sometimes.
Yeah.
That's a good word, right?
You got to know the champion. Who's the decision maker? That's what I always thought. That who is the decision maker in the process? I recruited the champion harder than I recruited the recruit.
So I think Joe is probably the decision maker in that, but also having like a trusted guy, his brother, put in a good word. It's like every little bit helps.
That's right.
I love the fact that he just wouldn't talk to you when he got there. He gave you this stiff arm. He's like, "I know you're going to convince me to come to LSU, so I can't talk to you. You're too good at it."
And you know what? You got to respect that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and when Joe came in, he was the fourth-string quarterback. And I went and watched him. We were running 10s with Tommy Moffitt, who, by the way, y'all know Tommy Moffitt did a great job for us, man. And I couldn't coach the players in the summer, but I could watch. Joe ran every 110 and won every 110.
Yeah.
And after that, Joe and Foster Morrow, who was Joe's host, went out to throw a ball. And the rest of the team went with the quarterbacks that were there, obviously, right? But then all of a sudden, Joe never lost a 110. Then all of a sudden, see a couple of guys go catch passes with Joe.
Yeah.
And Joe won the locker room himself.
Yeah.
What a tremendous job. Now, having 2 years with him helped.
Yeah, because I was going to say that we were talking about it before, but the first year was, he was good. He wasn't Heisman. And we went to the game. This was actually our first game that we went to LSU, and it lived up to the hype in terms of the crowd, the atmosphere, but you guys didn't score a point. You lost to Bama. You didn't score a point. But you said that was probably the most important loss that you had because it changed everything.
Yes. Through adversity, you learn the most. You should, right? And after that game, I went to Steve Esminger, who's a stud. I think we won like 80% of our games with Steve. He's like John Wayne. He's a great guy. I said, Steve, we got to go to the spread. He goes, I agree. Well, we had a young guy named Joe Brady who came talk to us about RPOs in the summer, and we had some guys in the Saints. I said, hey, let's start working Joe. I said, Steve, are you receptive of me bringing in another guy, him teaches the spread, and y'all work together? And he did, and it worked out perfect.
Yeah.
How would you get you guys up for a game against Nick Saban and Alabama? Because they seem to just crank them out in terms of recruiting. They were great at player development too. And for a while, LSU, it was always the story of LSU was you can't beat Alabama.
That's right.
You can't reach that top pinnacle.
That's right.
How did you get you guys prepared, especially after an ass kicking like that, that you can actually go out there and compete with them?
Yes. Well, first of all, as a head coach, I knew the benchmark was I had to beat Alabama. So everything that we did every day, I didn't say we had to beat Alabama, but I knew that they set the benchmark high, and we were right there, and we had to get past them. First of all, I thought you had to match their physicality. I was wrong. We spread them out, and that day we went to Tuscaloosa.
Yeah,
we really ripped them a good one right there.
Yeah,
they came back, give it to Nick Saban and his team, who's tough and a great coach, but we really had a great game plan. I remember. I'd go home Thursday night, and Joe Brady would stay in the office till 4 a.m. And the next day on Friday, he just looked at me and said, Coach, we got him. And I remember getting on the plane. It was like I was going with my buddies. We were going to a fight, man. And we were going to win.
Yeah.
And there was no question we were going to win that game.
But it's a testament to you as a, like the being in charge of the whole program to be like, hey, we lost this game. We got to change. We got to adapt. And finding a guy like Joe Brady, who's a young guy who a lot of teams probably wouldn't take a chance on to put into that elevated role for a huge team in a huge conference. Yeah.
Recognizing talent. I mean, that's been one of my strengths as a recruiter. When Joe came and he spoke to our staff in the summer, I knew this guy was going to be a great coach. I mean, Ray Charles could see that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm looking at a picture right now of your famous binder. Actually, Derek tweeted this out back in, I think, 2016. When you made your pitch to LSU saying, you hire me as the head coach. I'm more than an interim guy. I can lead LSU back to greatness. You had a binder. Do you remember how many pages were in this binder that you made?
I think we had 2 or 3 binders.
So it was a multiple editions,
binders.
multiple volumes.
Yeah.
What was in that binder? I got to know. Do you still have a copy of the binder?
It was our plan. Derek got it. I probably got it in my mind, but I don't keep all this. But let me tell you what happened that day, okay? So we go to Texas A&M, right? And we tear them a new one. There is guys ran the football up and down the field. And I get back on the plane, and Derek's sitting in front of me. And his head is down like that. And we just won a big game. I'm like, what's going on? Alumni come. Coach, too bad. I said, what? He did a good run. They're going to hire, who was it? Jimbo Fisher. They're going to hire Jimbo Fisher. Okay. Oh, okay. Well, the next day, I go to meet with the athletic director, me, Derek, and Austin Thomas. We got the binders. We got everything ready. The AD comes in, who is a great guy. He looks at us. He has his head down. He goes, he takes the binders, and he pushes them. He don't even open them. I'm like, what's going on? I'm kicking Derek. I'm kicking Austin. What's happening? He says, guys, I hate to tell you, I'm going to meet with Tom Herman tonight. We had a good run. I said, Derek, Austin, you got to leave. Hey, you know Eminem one shot? You know, he got one shot, right? It's like the time I hugged Sandra Bullock. I'll tell you got one shot to do that. I pulled a chair. I said, Joe, and I was hitting him right here. You know, in your heart and your belly, I'm the best man to be the head coach of the LSU Tigers. I shook his hand, stiff. I said, I look forward to being the head coach of the LSU Tigers. And I walked out of there. I go, okay. I was living in a hotel. We moved out the hotel. We go home. Anyway, things happen. You know, Tom Herman, Lane Kiffin texted me 1:30. Tom Herman's going to Texas, all that stuff. And all of a sudden, I think it's like 5:36 in the morning, I missed a call from Joe Oliva, the AD. What's going on? He called me and said, hey, man, can you be in Baton Rouge an hour? I said, hell yeah, man, I'm coming. Look, I'm going down I-12 playing Born on the Bayou as hard as, and I'm going about 120 miles an hour, man. Then all of a sudden, I make a call and said, hey, they didn't offer me the job. Somebody told me, I don't think they want to meet with you now and tell you they don't offer the job. So I get to LSU, and Joe's standing near the Tiger. Man, I pull in there. He said, well, you want the job or not? I grabbed him. I gave him a beer. He said, let me down, you big boy. So we went talk. And we're talking there. We were talking about things that are going to happen on. He said, hey, I got to tell you something. I said, what, Joe? He said, you know when you hit me in my stomach like that? Mm-hmm. He said, you were right. He said, I went to bed at night. I had a knot in my stomach, man. I said, I put that Cajun gree on your ass, boy. What a story, man.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. It worked out really, really well. And then you fast forward a couple years. The championship season it was magical. It was incredible. So much fun to watch. And then the way things ended there, I actually thought you had a really good perspective about the whole thing, is when they said, okay, we're going to fire you. Here's your buyout. Would you say, like, which door you want me to walk out of?
Yeah.
Just write the check?
Yeah. What time you want me to go and what door you want me to walk out of, brother?
Yeah.
But you know what? Hey, man, I'm a positive guy. I'm never going to let people know they got me. You know what I mean? Deep down inside, I may be hurting, I may be burning. We don't show it. We have a saying, big chest and big eyes. Mm-hmm. We look forward, we work through adversity, and we keep on going.
Yeah.
I like that.
And you're a football lifer. You know how it works. That, everyone gets fired. That's just kind of how it works.
And, I understand the standards of LSU.
Yeah.
I get it. I mean, we weren't meeting the standards that we were supposed to meet. Okay, give me $17 million to walk out the door. Oh, good luck.
Yeah.
I'm still getting paid at LSU. People actually say, Coach, you mad at LSU? I said, no, I love LSU. And I do. It was a great opportunity for us and a great time.
So you are an incredible recruiter. Obviously the recruiting game's changed, but do you think, if you get back in it, you still got it in terms of getting in the living room and being able to win those recruiting battles?
Got even better.
Okay.
I'm fresh, ready. Yeah. That's what I love to do. And it's kind of because of our exposure. Like, I went speak at the Texas football clinic. All the recruits come up to me. Hey, Coach, what's up? The mamas, they want to take pictures with me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just because of our notoriety and, because of Joe Burrow and Justin and Jamar, the success that they're having. People know us all over the country.
Yeah. Now, are you still, able to get put on your, hard hat and your work boots, like the time you had to eat, was it five bowls of bison chili at a chili? Tell that story. Because these are my favorite. Like, Coach O will do anything to get a recruit. He'll just eat the house out of chili if he has to.
Lord. So we may have had, I guess, you've been in New Orleans, you eat a lot of gumbo, right? Mm-hmm. So we may have had, I guess, 5, 6 home visits that day. And everywhere I went, they had gumbo for me, right? And I ate. I mean, I must have ate. And look, they fixed me a big bowl. I'm a big eater. I'm going to eat. And it's the last home visit. It's about 9 o'clock at night, okay? And so we get there, and the mom says, man, I made some chili. I went, and because I was forced to go, what's wrong, Coach? You don't like chili? Oh, no, I love chili. I love chili. I love chili. Yeah. So we get it, and we eat, and it was actually good. And I said, man, what's in there? I said, bison. Oh, okay. I never ate bison chili in my life. I ate about 3 or 4 bowls. Man, I went home. My Uncle Pish used to say this. He says, you know, I wear a size 38 pants, but a 40 feels so good, I'll buy me a 42.
Wait, did you say what's your uncle's name?
Uncle Pish.
Oh, okay, I thought you said piss. I was like,
Uncle Pish. Yeah.
that's a great saying though.
Yeah.
We're the 42. Yeah. So all right. So what other great? Because I love hearing the recruiting stories. You getting in there like being like, hey, I got to eat all this, or I got to go out in the back. Did you ever have to go out in the backyard and like draw up plays and stuff?
Oh man, we went to Apu's house in Salt Lake City, and it was us in Alabama. And Apu was a big nose tackle, man, and his father was very, very instrumental. His father wanted to go to Alabama, and I knew that. And I had to get in the living room. Now, Apu was about 3:30, right? And I had to get in the living room and show his father for about 45 minutes every technique, and we had every blocking scheme that we had to. Now I got a thighs, and Apu stirring me like that. But I'll tell you what, I was getting after it, man. And that won over the dad right there.
Yeah.
You just blocking him up.
Blocking him up, showing him what we're going to do. And the dad goes, nobody's ever come in my house and do it. I said, I don't think anybody ever will, brother.
Yeah.
Coach Bielema had told us that, I think he said that you got to look at the mom's brothers to see how the boy's going to turn out. Like in terms of like how much weight they're going to put on, how big of a person they're going to. Was there something that you would look at when you went to visit a house to see how the recruit was going to turn out?
Well, you got to bet on the genes, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think that, Lofa Tatupu, okay, who was a great linebacker for us at USC, right? He comes with Mosi, right? Mosi was a great player, a great fullback. And me and Peter sitting there, and Mosi's in the door, and we say, "Where's Lofa?" He goes, "Here." Lofa was behind him. You couldn't even see Lofa from. He looked small, Great player. We bet on the genes. Great player. First game against Auburn, has 20 tackles. So Jason Taylor's son, Mason Taylor, who's in Florida, and I knew Jason because of great defensive lineman, studied his long arm, the best that ever been. So he's going to bring Mason over to campus. Now, Derek and I, we always do our homework on people, right? Now, Jason Taylor and Katrina, who is in excellent shape, who is a wonderful lady, when you look at those two guys, those two people, they're going to make some pretty good athletes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we go, Mason Taylor goes to 3 plays for me. I said, offer him a scholarship. Jason goes, really? Not a school in Florida? Miami? They're still pissed about that. Florida State offered him. Mason Taylor ended up being maybe one of the best tight ends in LSU history.
Yeah.
Because of that history that I learned from Jimmy and Pete. Bet on the genes, man.
So what about your recruiting stories when you were coming out of high school? What was that like?
It was great, man. My dad was like my coach, Man, back then he'd drink a little whiskey,
Mm-hmm.
And I had coaches come, and I'd be at the house. They had going through 1 or 2 fifths of VO. It was crazy at the table. But I remember I was going to LSU from the get-go. That was it. So the coach from Alabama called, and I was talking to him. And back then you signed an SEC scholarship and then a national scholarship. He goes, "No, sign that scholarship." He said, "I want to bring Bear Bryant to your house." I told my dad, he said, "Hey, Dad, coach from Alabama wants to bring Bear Bryant." He said, "Tell that man not to come over here." We're going to LSU.
And did he try? Did he try to do what you would have done, which is like reach out to a brother, reach out to your dad, try to get a word in?
No.
Just stayed away?
No. Back then we only had one phone in the house. My dad wouldn't answer the phone. That was it.
Coach O is going to be brought to you by Mountain Dew. We'll get back to him in a second. Nothing says summer like camp. Nothing says summer like baseball. Nothing says summer like the beach. And nothing goes better with hanging outside and enjoying your company with your friends than the refreshing citrusy kick of Mountain Dew. And the new cans are beautiful. Makes me want to go spend some time on a mountaintop. Camp Barstool is going to be incredible this year, and it's powered by Mountain Dew. We're going to be slamming dews, ice-cold Mountain Dews after working up a sweat outside. Can't wait to crack open that first Mountain Dew of the day. The mountain's calling. Experience the refreshing citrus kick of Mountain Dew. Grab one today. And now, here's more Coach O. So how would you describe yourself? Like if you had to recruit high school at Orgeron, what would you list as strengths, weaknesses, concerns, red flags?
Yeah. I was a really good player early, both ways. We made All-State, a good player. I loved playing defense, but I was a better offensive player. So when I went, that was my strength. Like, you take defensive linemen and move the offense, and they put me at center. LSU did. And you know what? That was the best thing for me. But I hate to say it, man. I left Larose, Louisiana to Baton Rouge is 2 hours, hour and 45 minutes. I got homesick. I'd never been away from home. I went home. The best thing my father ever did to me, I thought I was going to chill out, go drink a couple beers with my buddy the next day. Hey, you home, Scotland? Knock on my door, 6 o'clock. Let's go to work. What? Yeah. He put me digging ditches. So I'm digging ditches on the side of the road. Now, look, you signed with LSU. You on top of the world, right?
Yeah.
Right? Okay. You quick. You in the outhouse class, right?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
They passing. They're rolling down their window. I'm digging ditches. You big pussy. You couldn't take it. What the hell you doing? And you know what my dad said? Dig. I'll never forget that day. Dig. And then about 2 months later, Bobby Hebert called me. Who had on the show. Who's my teammate, Solid Foods. He said, hey, man, they want you to come up here to Northwestern. Give a scholarship. I said, I'm coming. I don't know where it's at, but I'm getting out of this ditch thing.
Yeah. Getting yelled at on the side of the highway.
Pussy.
I love how you came into the office and you saw Max, our producer, and first thing you said, like, you played, what did you say? You played nose tackle?
Nose tackle.
Yeah, do you just size people up like that?
Always do.
You see them and you can tell like,
Always
what position they be?
We going down the boardwalk, me and my wife.
Yeah.
That guy's an athlete. They got skinny tail. Look at that. They got stiff as a board. I bet you that girl's an athlete. She goes, how you tell that? You just learn the traits. And the traits of, we used to put the traits of a lineman, how you ought to look and all that stuff. Just the pictures that I have in my mind. Mm-hmm. Think about this. One of the best guys we ever recruited at any place was from Chicago. Yep. His name was Russell Maryland, was at Miami. Russell came in at 350. I think some small schools up here recruited him. Russell got down to 285 and was the first player picked in the draft. Mm-hmm. So I saw that transition. Cortez Kennedy. Warren Sapp came in as a tight end. We moved the defensive line. So all those stories and everything that happened, we got to put that together at LSU.
What about The Rock? Could you tell The Rock was going to be a superstar?
I never – I'm so happy that he's doing what he's doing. I love him. His nickname was Dewey. The great guy, But look, man, he's playing behind Warren Sapp, okay? So, he's not Warren Sapp's capability. But one day, Bob Cormellis, who's a good friend of mine who passed, recruited Dwayne. And Dwayne was at practice, and he had a bad day, man. It just wasn't good. And back then, I was a little vocal, I said, hey, Dwayne, you ought to be a effing wrestler like your uncle. Well, he took good advice.
I love it. So you mentioned Jimmy Johnson. You were there when Miami was coming. It was great days for him before he goes to the Cowboys. What was it about Jimmy Johnson that made him such a great coach and had everyone so dialed in there?
Everybody believed in Jimmy.
Yeah.
Jimmy was the man.
Is that just swagger? Is that just the results and then people follow the results? What is that?
Psychologist.
Yeah.
He used it. He got into you. Everybody drank the tea. I loved him. I loved him to death. But let me tell you something. Everybody feared him too now.
Yeah.
And you knew. Hey, you stay within the lines. You cross the line, you're going to get it.
Yeah.
And the players did too. The players loved him, but they feared him. And practice was fierce, man. The University of Miami, I tell people this nowadays, when you go places, you smell the grass? Well, I left. It's been 30-something years I've been in Miami. When I went on, they call it Green Tree Practice Field, when I smelled the grass, it's the same damn smell I smelled in 1988. And I stepped on that field in 1988 with Jimmy Johnson, Dave Wanstead, Butch Davis, Tommy Tuberville, Gary Stevens, Dave Campo, and I saw the way they coached. That was it. Nobody had to tell me again. That was my style. That was it. And that was a great, great time for me.
Yeah, that's some incredible names. What about Pete Carroll? Did players fear Pete? Because I feel like he's more of a player's coach.
Yeah. Well, Pete had everybody drinking the tea too now.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody believed in Pete. but it was kumbaya with Pete. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Pete can walk in a room. Everybody feel like they've known Pete for a long time. But the things people don't know, Pete's a strict disciplinarian. And he'll give people a chance to let them think for themselves, but he ain't going to take no crap. And at night, Pete was the best coach. We would get there at 6:30. We'd start the film. And we watch every film, every piece of practice, and he would critique. I remember one day, man, I love this story. And Pete and I were close now, but no favorites. Man, I remember my 5 technique got reached. It was Kenichi Udeze. And Reggie Bush just went down, busted for about 40 yards. And he looked at me. I sat in the corner right there. What's wrong, Eddie? You can't teach a reach block? What? Looked at him, man. Okay. Hey, right after we finished film, I called Kenichi. He was practicing the reach block till midnight. And then I had him in the office at 6 o'clock practicing the damn reach block. Now, here's Pete Carroll. You talk about accountability. He's going to find out who you are now. He's going to test you. The next day, we have inside run. We have the same play. Kenichi gets reached. He beats the reach block. He hits the tailback about 7 yards deep in the backfield. We go in there. He goes, "Hey, Eddie, I repeated that play. I wanted to see if you was going to fix it for me. Thank you." How about that?
Yeah.
That's accountability, man.
Yeah.
And we held it, everybody to that standard at LSU.
Yeah.
We had a saying, and Greg McMahon was on our staff. We attack people. We attack problems, not people.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do that in the situation, everybody signs on, and you say, "Hey, we got this problem here. How are we going to fix it?" People can take that. But when you go attack their personality, I think they start shying away from it.
Yeah, that's really
I think
smart.
sometimes we have a problem with that. What would you do if, like, the problem was one of you guys just played golf all the time and didn't come to work that much? How would you solve that problem?
Well,
We're not attacking
the person,
which we do sometimes attack the person.
but we got to work on that.
Yeah.
Well, the first time, first of all, we had a set standard. Everybody knew what they were going to do. Now, if he's doing this on his off time, good. I mean, I'm not going to tell a grown man what he can do.
Mm-hmm.
But if he's doing that on our time, the first time I'm going to bring him in. That's all. Say, "Hey, man, you can't be playing golf here, okay?"
Mm-hmm.
What if the off time and the on time, like, it gets blurred, where it's like he is doing it on his off time, but then he's maybe a little tired when he comes in for the for the work.
Yeah. Well, if his performance is being affected,
Mm-hmm.
I would talk to him.
Yeah.
But you know what? Here's where I learned at Ole Miss, okay? Now look, when you're a defensive line coach at the University of Miami, and you walk in there, you better be a man now. Let me say this to you, and Warren's going to hear that, and I love him to death. Warren Sapp thought there was one person on campus that could whip his ass, and that was me. And I'm glad he thought that. Now, I probably couldn't have, but he thought that, right?
Right.
Uh-huh.
Right.
You had to walk in there, and you had to be a Marine sergeant and not give them no slack, man, because those guys are different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're just, you got to channel their energy in the right direction. But you can't coach everybody like that. And like at Ole Miss, I'd go and I would chew a coach's butt out in front of the players. Lost it. So now, when we went to LSU, and they know, I get in early in the morning, my notepad, grade every play, walk down. They were waiting for me right down the hall, right there. "Hey, coach, come here. I'm gonna play 13 here. How are we gonna fix that left tackle? Hey, coach, here's the drill I'm gonna do. Here's what we're gonna do with him, and we're gonna get it fixed." It worked out perfect.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Instead of blurring out stuff on the field and attacking people.
Yeah.
So with Pete Carroll, I know that you used some of his stuff that he used to implement at USC. Was it Mondays? Tell the truth Mondays.
You're darn right.
What were the other days of the week?
Tell the truth Monday, competition Tuesday, turnover Wednesday, no repeat Thursday, focus Friday, and win on Saturday, baby.
All right. What happens on? Is it turnover Wednesday?
Yeah.
What happens on turnover Wednesday?
Well, we focus on, we have third down, which is good, but we have a turnover circuit. We focus on turnovers. we compete. If the offense has less than 3, they win. If the defense has more than 3, they win. And I put it up on the board. Our guys love competition. And there's another thing I used to do. We used to grade the one-on-ones. You got to grade the one-on-ones, man. You got to watch the film. And I used to put the one-on-one grades up on the big screen, and everybody would see it. I didn't have to say a word.
Mm-hmm.
They would get on each other's butt. Now, look, you got Derek Stingley going against Jamar Chase. You know what I mean? You got Patrick Queen going against Clyde Edwards-Helaire. You got some stuff going on there.
Yeah.
And they competed for it.
So with Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, how did you recruit those guys, first of all, when you didn't have a great quarterback? I feel like that's the easiest way to do it, right? Like, we got a great quarterback that's going to throw you the ball. Tell me about how you got them on campus, because they're obviously some of the best players in the NFL right now.
Yes. Well, let's talk about Jamar first, okay? Jamar, I think, had committed to 4 different schools or something like that. But what happened is, and no offense to the other staff, someone on the other staff before me told Jamar in front of his mother that he has to play cornerback. No way, man. So Miss Talia was totally against LSU. So his daddy, Jimmy, who's a great guy, brings Jamar to camp. Miss Talia would come to campus, and she wouldn't say a word. And there you go, you got to recruit the mama. She was the champ.
Yep.
Okay? And Jamar we kept the best players after, and Jamar was going one-on-one against an all-pro that's in the league today. And he tore him up. And I looked at his daddy, and I said, Jimmy, Jamar Chase, he was committed to Florida at the time. Jamar Chase is coming to LSU. He ain't going anywhere over my dead effing body. Mm-hmm. And Jimmy looked at me, you got to get the mama. And one of the best things I did, and Derek recommended it, is hiring Mickey Joseph. Mickey Joseph was a great coach, a great recruiter. So Mickey did a great job of getting Mr. Leah and recruiting Jamar, and we got him. And one of the things, it was gratifying. You go to the green room, and you got your guys sitting there, and Mr. Leah came up to me. She says, Coach, I got to tell you something. Everything that you told me, you did for my son. Thank you. But to answer your question, to get those guys, I told them we were going to the spread, and I told them we were going to get a great quarterback. We had to be a salesman there because we weren't doing that then.
Yeah. It happened. Yeah.
Have you ever thought, like, how good of a cornerback he might have been if he had played cornerback?
Never.
Jamar Chase might have been pretty good. You never know.
You're probably right.
Pretty good receiver.
But look, as soon as his mama didn't want to play quarterback, I didn't even say the word, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is crazy to think about it now, that it was that close for him to be a to be a college cornerback and then maybe a professional cornerback instead of being possibly the best wide receiver in the NFL right now.
Yeah.
Look, and they wanted to play cornerback.
Yeah.
Cornerback.
Yeah.
You know. Now look, Justin Jefferson, right? So his brothers had come to LSU, and then you bet on the jeans, right? And Justin had a great camp, man, and the coaches liked him a lot. He was only 160 pounds, and I'm good friends with the coach at Destran, Coach Robichaud, and my nickname's Bebe. So I go down there. I said, Coach, I'm kind of like Justin. He said, Bebe, he only got a scholarship off Nicholls State. He's not going to be eligible. I said, Coach, we got a scholarship for him if he's eligible. He said, let me get working on the eligibility. And he did. He did it the right way. But Justin did not get eligible. Sam Nader did a great job of correspondence course and getting it. He got eligible in July, and we kept him a scholarship. And he came to campus, and one of the best things that happened to Justin is Jerry Sullivan was with us. And Jerry walked through every route, taught him how to run every route. Now, give it to Justin. He did the work. He's the smoothest route runner I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah. It is insane to think about, like, these guys on your team and what they're doing in the NFL right now. And they're the best. I mean, it is. It's a conversation. It's like, who's the best receiver? And 2 of the guys are LSU guys.
Yeah.
Right up there.
Yeah. And you look at our background, and we knew what we had to do. We knew we had to go to spread, and we knew we could get great receivers in Louisiana. But Joe was the key.
Yeah.
For us to get a great quarterback, and for us we developed Joe, and he did the work. And Joe Brady comes in. Now, Joe was very smart. I give you an example. We run in the spread. I'm on the head and says, look, man, I'm not going to call an offensive play. I never will. You know what I mean? I'll screw it up. But, hey, Joe, tell Joe he should have thrown the hot, because the nickel was coming from the field. The only time I ever coached up Joe Burrow on football on the field. Hey, Joe, come here. Why you didn't throw the hot? He says, Coach, I looked over there. As a darn freshman. He can't catch the ball. So I went to Jamar. Think about that.
Yeah.
The guy snaps the ball. He sees the center. He sees the hot. Now, you know how fast you got to think, and you got to think on your feet. The guy's the best. Look at him.
Yeah.
He is so smart, and the tangibles that he has, the leadership, and he's like a general. Look here. All-state basketball player, right? Dad's a coach. Mom's a principal of the school, right? Graduated from Ohio State in 3 years. Think about all the signs that he had to be a great quarterback.
Yeah. All right. So going into this college football season, if you were coaching a team and I was like, hey, you get any player you want, what quarterback would you want to be coaching?
Archer, man.
Yeah? He's the real deal?
No doubt.
What makes you say that?
You know, I had an opportunity to go to Texas and speak to the clinic, and speak at their clinic, and I watched practice. Now, we knew Archer Manning as a young kid from Louisiana. He liked Joe Brady. We watched him. But I watched his practice, and I'll say this conservatively, okay? And Garrett, we recruited Garrett. Garrett's a great player. You know, it's kind of, they got some great quarterbacks. But Arch is as close to, or maybe as good as Joe as I've seen.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
And I've never said that about anybody.
Yeah.
He's fast. He's athletic.
Yep.
He seems to be really smart.
Smart.
Tough. I guess we haven't seen him compete against the highest level. I actually like what Sark did. It might not have been the best idea for the team last year, but he definitely told Quinn Ewers, like, hey, we're bringing Archie in, but I'm going to stay loyal to you until the end. Like, I'm giving you my word.
Yep.
And then everybody else that's in that building saw that happen when the fans were all asking for Archie. I think that's going to end up being a good thing for Sark moving forward.
You know, his credibility.
Yeah.
Your players learn to trust you. If you tell them something, do it.
Yeah. So what about defense? As a defensive guy yourself, is there a defense in college football right now that you see and you're like, they're doing it the right way?
I liked Ohio State last year.
Yeah.
I love their defense. I love what they were doing, bringing the safety down, mixing things up.
He might be the best player in college football.
Yeah, Caleb Downs.
No question. And I love the way they attacked. Their defensive line was phenomenal. What's the big white guy that had a sack fumble?
Jack Sawyer.
Oh, my God.
Yeah,
I love the way that boy played football.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they were very, very impressive. You know, on Saturdays now I live in Miami Beach, and I'm on that boardwalk and on the beach every day, checking out all the sights. You know, my head is always on a swivel. You know? The beautiful sights down there, and I love it. But on Saturday, I get up, I get a good workout in the morning, and I'm on that sofa till 10 o'clock in the morning till I fall asleep 12, 1 o'clock, and I
That's living.
I love
watch football as I can, and I love it.
What coach would you say right now is like, this is the guy that's, you know, and we obviously know the Kirby and there's some certain guys that are very established, but is there a guy that you're like, this guy, what he's doing, how he's got the program going?
Well, you know, two guys I work for, you know, I think Atlanta's a great coach.
Yeah.
You know, look, I was at Ole Miss. I didn't have any success. And for him to do what he's doing at that school is phenomenal. And I love the coach of Notre Dame.
Yeah.
I'm good friends with him. I've been there a couple of times. He's a great guy. The players love him. He runs a tough practice. And I'm going to tell you now, Mario Cristobal has done a tremendous job. The talent level at Miami, I've been there for 3 years, and I've been to a bunch of practice. The talent level that he's brought that program to right now is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And then Sarkisian. Sarkisian is one of the best offensive minds. He's done a great job. I don't like his play call to goal line against Ohio State. Mm-hmm. I'll say that. You know, I'm a go-forward guy, no go sideways. But I think those guys are doing a great job.
Yeah.
And the guy in Indiana. I got to give him credit.
Yeah, he was at JMU. So I went to school at JMU, and then I saw what he did at that smaller program, and he left for Indiana. He talks a lot, though. He's not afraid to speak his mind. I think if I were to imagine what's going on in his head, he knows that Indiana is, you know, a second-tier Big Ten school. To get people talking about Indiana, he has to be the one that puts his balls on the table and be willing to wear that, right?
Smart selling.
Yeah.
Smart. But you know what? He backs it up.
Yeah.
He backs it up now. And you know, I think as a coach, and y'all seen that podcast with Pete Carroll lately? It's a good one. I'll send it to you guys.
Okay.
And he talked about you got to figure out who you are, man. Write it down. Look at it. Put it on paper. And you got to make sure you're true to those values. And then go with the plan. he said when he first started, he said, I wasn't really worth the crap. I was doing this and doing that. So I finally got fired enough to write down, to figure out who in the hell am I? And just like me, I'm going to be me, and that's it.
Right.
And I'm not getting out my lane. You know what I mean? Now, I'll adjust if I have to, especially with my wife every once in a while. But other than that, Ed Orgeron's Ed Orgeron. That's it.
Yeah, because I mean, you saw it. Obviously, you mentioned your time at Ole Miss didn't go so well. That was probably you not being you.
That's right.
Yeah,
and I didn't know how to be the head coach. I knew how to be a defensive line coach. Look, at Ole Miss, my coaches were in ice tubs and IVs. The doctor called me and said, "Hey, it looks like a MASH unit in the hospital." He said, "Can you lay off of the guys?" But I didn't know, as a head coach, you got to know how to lay off the pedal a little bit. You can't coach the kicker the same way you coach Warren Sapp.
Yeah.
The quarterback, you can't. You know what I mean? So you got to break everybody. So it's really easier for me to be a head coach and lay off the pedal a little bit and let everybody do their job than being the hammer and try to do everything.
I can't imagine that you talk to the kickers that much. Or just words of encouragement?
Oh, yeah. Here's the job. Okay? Get your ass on the sideline and shut up. All right? And when you called on, get out there and make the effing kick.
Yeah.
Come back and get on the sideline and shut up again.
That's good advice. I mean, that would be the best kicker of all time, right?
That's right.
That's not one of the left. What about we've seen a lot of coaches, especially some of the older guys, that in the last couple of years the game's changed a little bit, recruiting's changed, the portal, all that stuff. They've kind of said, all right, that's enough for me. It's changed so much. I don't feel like I want to stick around for this next era of college football. If you're coming back, I feel like you're a great hire because you're always going to be a good recruiter. And now it feels like there's more people than ever who are saying, yes, I'd like to be recruited. Even players that are out of school right now.
Sure.
You think you could adapt to that environment?
No question. No question. You have to. I told my kids, you have to do it. Now, is there some things that I disagree with? Maybe. Yeah. I think players ought to be paid. I'm all for that. You know what I'm saying? But I think the transfer portal and you being here and you getting paid and you leaving, and I think there needs to be a little bit more loyalty. But look, whoever adapts and adjusts and maneuvers through the system is going to win.
Yep.
So I want to win, so I'll adapt and adjust.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah. All right. Well, Coach, this has been awesome. I got one last question for you. It's a rowback question. RHOBACK.com. Promo code TAKE. 20% off your first purchase. Q-zips, polos, hoodies, joggers, shorts. Rowback.com. Promo code TAKE. I know you're a rowback guy as well. Tell us your number one, I can't believe I got that guy recruiting story. Like the guy that you're like, I look back, I'm like, man, I did it all. I hit all the O buttons. I did the thing.
You know, I gotta say, there's a lot of them, but Reggie Bush.
Yeah.
Reggie was going to Notre Dame or Washington or something like that, but we didn't have a good connection with him for some reason. And I was the recruiting coordinator. I wasn't recruiting that area. I wasn't recruiting the running back. But I kind of felt that we were losing ground with Reggie. So I called his dad, and I said, hey, man, and we were practicing for the bowl, Orange Bowl against Iowa. And I called his dad, hey, man, can I buy you a steak this weekend? Y'all doing anything? Bring your wife, bring Reggie. Come on, man. It's just going to be us, Coach Carroll, the staff. Y'all come spend the weekend with us. He said, Coach, I'm coming. They came. It was just Reggie. We had a great weekend. Then all of a sudden, we go to Iowa. We go to Orange Bowl. We play Iowa. It's a tough game, Orange Bowl. We win. Me and Coach Carroll working. We calling recruits right after the game. And Coach gets a call. He said, Ed, it's Reggie. He said, Coach, I watch y'all play. I want to be a Trojan. Wow. Just like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And what one of the greatest players I've ever been.
Yeah. Was that always weird, though, like going from winning a big game and then being like, well, I have to get right back to work? I have to use this big game to then go and call people?
Yes. When you win, that's when you want to do it.
Right.
Man, I remember our first year, we went to the Las Vegas Bowl, and we lost, okay, at USC. And we lost to Utah, I think, or something like that. And I was coming home. We drove home. Everybody's down in the dirt. I said, Coach. Yeah, Eddie. I said, hey, let's meet in the office, man. Let's go call recruits. He was like, okay. And that's the best thing we ever did that night.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We got the taste out of our mouth. We called the recruits. And then you use it as a tool. Say, hey, man, you saw the game? We need you to come in and play for us right
you
there.
Could be the fix.
Yeah. And you got it right fresh. And then you get that stuff out of your mind. You go on the road recruiting, and we end up signing a great class. So it works both ways.
Yeah.
I love it. Are you still spending time with Ray Baker?
Me and Ray. Now, look, there's a time in my life. I thought about this with y'all guys. There's a time in my life I'd whoop Ray Baker's ass. You hear me?
And by the way, Ray Baker is the son.
He's the son.
You named the son Ray Baker.
He's the son.
Yeah.
But can I tell you the story about Ray Baker?
Yeah.
Okay. So we at Northwestern State University, right? And back then, practices are not the same. But back then, we going, and Bobby will tell you, we going like 30 days straight to camp, man. It's just grinding, And it's a Saturday, and we're on the turf. It's hot. And back then, we huddled, right? And Freeman Thomas was my buddy. About 5'11", 330. Had some big pads on. Big guy, man. And, baby, yeah, Ray Baker going to get us today. Man, I look in the huddle on offense, we ain't got nobody named Ray Baker on the team. He goes, look up there. Them Rays going to bake our ass today, baby. And ever since then, with my friend Freeman Thomas, I've been calling the son Ray Baker.
Ray Baker. Hey, what do you bench? Do you still bench?
You know what? I'm going to tell you all the truth. I haven't benched since LSU. I tore both rotator cuffs, and it still kills me. Now, do I work out every day? Yes. But I never wanted to get my rotator cuff fixed because I couldn't see myself in a sling for 6 months. So the answer to that, the bench press is out. But if I could, hell yeah, 315. I'm not going to get up and buckle my pants if I can't bench 315.
Okay.
Healthy. No way.
I like that.
I ain't doing it.
I think you could, even with the torn rotator cuffs. What about you're running? You're running every day?
Every day.
You do squats anymore?
Every day. Yeah, I still squat. Yeah.
What are we squatting these days?
Yeah, I don't go heavy now. I got to be honest.
Okay.
I don't go heavy.
Yeah, but still squatting. I mean,
64 years old.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ready to go.
There's not a lot of people who are
I'm in good shape. I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
Ass to grass.
What's that?
You going all the way? Ass to grass? All the way down?
Oh, well, parallel. Let's go.
Okay, all right.
Parallel.
That's fine.
Parallel.
I would recruit you right now.
Yeah.
As a
Thank you.
head coach. I would like you to coach at my school. I hope that there's somebody out there listening that says, if our defense needs a shot in the arm, let's bring in Coach O this year.
Yeah.
It'll be good. And,
Yeah.
We'll see after the season what happens, and the best thing's always going to work out. It always does.
Yeah. Well, just know that we are massive fans of you, and you've always been great to us. And like I said at the start of it, you can't. We're writing a book now, 10 years. So we've been doing like a little trip down memory lane and getting nostalgic, and like your friendship to us and being so welcoming for us to come into the LSU program to see one of the best college teams of all time up close and personal. Like that's big for us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's a big part of how we got to where we were going.
And it was also just a hell of a time to witness
hell of a
that.
time.
Yeah.
It was great to be around that team.
But it was, we can't thank you enough because those are the ones when you look back, it's kind of fun doing this, this experience of writing a book where we look back and we're like, oh yeah, if that hadn't happened, if that person wasn't cool with us, it might have gone different. And you're in that list. So,
well, I thank y'all for saying that. But you know what? Immediately when I met y'all, I tell my wife, I can tell the person in the first 30 seconds. And I knew y'all were winners. And I knew y'all good guys, man. You speak from the heart.
Yeah.
You're all who you are, and look at the success you have. So congratulations to y'all. And if I can never help, I'm there.
yeah, no, you're going to have to write a chapter.
I will be there.
Okay. All right, all right.
Good.
We're gonna need a chapter.
I need somebody to help me write it.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
We'll put it
You can
together
just
like-
talk out a chapter.
Like the binders.
We got a ghostwriter. He'll call you.
Okay.
You just
Yeah.
say a couple stories,
All right.
and then he'll write it, and that's all you got to do.
You
See, that's
got
the
it.
secret
20
of
minutes
writing
on
a
the
book
phone.
is you just ask all your friends to write part of the book for you.
Yeah.
And you don't have to
That's
write
right.
that shit.
All right, Coach O, you're the best. Great to see you.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you guys.